All right, all. Just doing some sound adjustment here. There we go. Just trying to how much I can hear myself versus how much I can hear other things. And then let's just go and go here. Sweet. Perfect. Okay. I see myself in the little video feed there, so I know everything is good to go. While people wander in, what I'll do is just go over what I do here each and every week. So this is the kind of weekend wrap up where I talk about the videos I made this week and the stocks that I was looking at and how and if I traded them. Yeah, I have them up here. We go over the markets, just do my analysis and my scanning of what I see for the markets for this week and going into next week. From there, I'll just go through and scan a handful of stocks and try to figure out what I'm going to make one of those short videos on for the weekend. Answer any questions along the way, then leave you guys and go do that. And speaking of questions, just always make sure that you're asking questions as we go. That's the reason I do this live as opposed to, just recording something or whatever. And last but not least, if you're interested in what you see here, essentially the output of this every day is what you'll find over at Stats Edge Trading, where I just write up my thoughts every single night on the market, give you guys a list of stocks that I'm watching, usually around 10. To keep an eye on. We have a little Discord room that we hang out all day, not an alert service in any way, but if you're interested, give it a shot. Everything is month to month, so if you got to bow out because you're not a fan or something, that's fine as well. So let's bring up the SPY and the RSP. I haven't looked at it most of today because, well, it's not doing too much. So we have a little doji going on up here. Wrong drawing tool. There we go. But now, again, as people dive in, let's go through the symbols for this week. Kind of what I'm seeing or what I've traded already this week. So just going through, the first one was Tesla. And it was actually funny because Tesla was both the list that I made this day. Hey, Jim. And it was also on the TI strength alerts. And I was kind of conflicted there because it was, I do both, right? And I did, this one. So I went through and I did my own scanning and I made the video and I uploaded it. And then I ran the math for the TI strength alert stuff. And I saw it there as well. So, kind of made me feel good that I guess it had kind of the same opinion on the stock. So basically, yeah, the first one was Tesla. I was looking for it over $700. We got that on Monday. I actually entered Monday on the close. And then you can see the next day we gapped up and we sold off. And then the day after that, we gapped down and then ran and then sold off. So basically, on the close of this day, I just exited about flat, right? It just kind of showed me that it wasn't quite ready to get over this area. And then you can see for Thursday and Friday, it didn't get over that area. Hey, Grant, how's it going? So that was just kind of a break even. I think I netted a few bucks on it, but it was really no big, nothing to write home about. Then there was Sumo the next day. So again, these are the ones that I just give out in video form, the ones that we do with Stats Edge Pro. There's always just way more of them. So it's not that I'm not trading at all during these days, just these names didn't happen. So this one, basically, I was looking for it to clear this area right here. It didn't do that, so I'm not interested. But I'm actually going to just grab this because I think I'm going to put this back on the list for Monday, because it came back to 20, but then it recovered there for 2 days. So I'm going to keep a little bit of an eye on this, do some of my drawing. Oh, I can always do that up there, right? So this is kind of the area that I'm looking for it to clear. You can see that that's been resistance here for a few days, right there and there. And then basically this whole thing's been just kind of in this base here for a very long time. So I wanted over that range. It didn't happen, right? It pulled back into that support area and then it just bounced off again. So I think I'm actually going to put that one back on the list. I'd taken it off, but it was just nice to see it chopping around, but no trade there. Next was AGRO, which I actually just got triggered in today. So basically, I wanted to see AGRO break and hold above this level here, right? And that one looked interesting, and then it just kind of chopped away sideways, so I just kept it there. And I actually entered pretty much right on the close. As the Stats Edge Pro guys will know, I'm doing this experiment for the month of August where I only, for my swings, I only enter and exit them all in the close. I just, from close to close, I basically, from a swing point of view, only look at the market at 4 my time, 3 Eastern, and then for that last hour of the day is when I go through and do all of my buying and selling and going through the watch list and everything, as an experiment to basically see how the right, everything in trading is a trade-off. So the reason I'm trying this is because what I know is going to happen is I'm going to miss a lot of trades that just fire off the back and go, and in return I'm going to not get the trades that rip up in the morning and then crash back down, which in this market seems to be coming more and more and more. So the question is, can my returns be even close to the same focusing on the market for just that last hour a day? Because if I'm getting similar results, then why would I waste my time staring at the charts all day, right? Where I can do other things like, build new algorithms or back test new strategies, or do some day trading or things like that. So that's kind of what I'm looking at now. And I actually have a video coming out. It's all edited and everything. I just have to figure out when I want to release it, about this concept of treating trading like a sport, in the sense that you're not staring at the market all the time. You're spending the majority of your time doing other things, which again, I'll wait for the video. But so yeah, so because this one couldn't close above that area until today, I entered right on the close of that one right there. And that's what I'm doing just kind of with everything this week. Next was Coin, which I actually entered yesterday. Again, right on the close. I think it was kind of a little bit lower. It was like in this area. So I'm up very slightly on that. I'm probably going to put my stop right under today's low in case, that doji that we're seeing right at resistance could be telling. So I'm going to keep a tight one on that. And then last was ACB, which is a weed company. Not didn't get in it, but I still like it. I kind of want to see it over this area right here. And to me, that just kind of helps confirms that this and this support is kind of happening again right there. Yeah, Grant, I'm done editing it. I actually finished all that this morning. But like, I have a video. This is a video, and then right Saturday, that whatever stock I find, that short video will be out, and then so maybe I'll release it on Sunday. Maybe. We'll see. I also have a whole bunch of people coming over this weekend, so it should be, I may be slow moving. So that is kind of what from the last ones what I did. So let's go to here, which is where I do a little bit more of my analysis on things and start doing that. And let's start with crypto. So we finally looks like we're breaking out here. So I basically had, let's just do, I just like drawing this stuff so much better. I need a direct markup right on the screen from the iPad thing. But basically, I had been, and anyone who's been following me for any length of time knows that I've just been not doing anything in Bitcoin as long as we kind of just been hanging out in that range. When we bounced up off of here, off of this low, and then we put in this lower high right here, I started buying in this area. Told everybody about that. So far, looking good. Basically, just gonna see if we can get back up to these highs here to sell some, and then I just may hold because Bitcoin knows it's going to rocket, right? It's Bitcoin just rockets and then it tanks. So if it does, I always want to make sure with Bitcoin that I have a plan to hold some, and that's usually using a short-term moving average. Just because I find Bitcoin can get a little bit psychologically overwhelming when the thing's just skyrocketing, and you kind of feel the need to stay in. But my stop has always been and will continue to be just right in that area right there, right? So that's kind of what I'm seeing in Bitcoin, and then Ether, ETHUSD. Right, you can see the dramatic outperformance in Ethereum. So Ethereum is definitely leading this rally with Bitcoin, following. Right, there's a lot of relative strength going on in that name. That's too extended for me to do anything with now. But it's one of those things that I just want to keep in mind because they are different cryptocurrencies. They're almost like different industries, I guess, if you looked at it that way. Hi, fellow Canadian. Not to interrupt, Mask. What is the red line indicator docked on the bottom of Trade Ideas window that showed up? This one down here? Yeah, that's just relative strength index. That's what that is. Yeah, so that's just your normal standard RSI settings. You'll see that in Trade Ideas, it's the same. Or in TrendSpider, I use the same settings, right? So then this fancy thing is really just the 8 period and 20 period MA. Oh no, that's ask questions, right? That's why there's no there's no other reason to do this live other than to have people ask questions. So let's go to Koyfin. And let's take a look at the overall performance. And this is a chart that I like to look at every day. And then I look at the longer term one once a week. We'll go 5 days. And then let's actually just move me a little out of the way here. So basically, again, what this chart is basically just representing the different indices. Sorry. Yeah, I mute it. If I ever tap this part of the mic, it mutes me and it triggers. So I don't know where I was, but I was basically just talking about the difference between the RSP and the SPY. Just saying that the SPY is cap weighted. So the larger the company, the more impact it has. The RSP is equal weight. So it's just divided by, it's just basically divided by 500, right? So I've been using the RSP more because in this market, it seems to be giving a better understanding of what the market's actually doing, which is chopping sideways. And then on top of it, chopping sideways, it's also chopping sideways. So I was hoping for a little something today. I didn't get it. Let me zoom in. So I want to grab that much. So you can see here, right, with the RSP, we've been in this massive range forever. And then now we've been in this range forever. One thing that I will notice is that dojis seem to quite often happen at turning points. So, right, this is something that I'd look for, right? Possible evening star, which is just a candlestick pattern that has a big push up and then a star candle. And then if the next candle's pushed down, that can be quite a significant turning point. So again, part of the reason I'm marking these up like these is A, I think it's visually interesting for you guys, and if not, let me know. But B, this is for the people in Stats Edge Pro, they'll see this and they'll go, oh, because this is the analysis that I'm doing behind the scenes kind of every single night. And then these annotated charts and everything, and then along with the watch list, which I won't share all of it on here, that's kind of the output of it every night, is just me going through this, looking at these different sectors and seeing what's going well and what's going poorly. And if we take a look at the XLF, you can see that we had a big breakout today. And I had someone ask why, and I have a theory, but I kind of want to preface this theory, with it doesn't matter and I don't care. It's just fun to talk about, right? And it's always, every time I talk about, correlations and macro analysis and news stories and stuff like that, it's fun to talk about, but I just always like to say that, again, I don't care, and I don't think it's relevant, right? I don't think anyone can make any substantial money off doing any of that, right? It's just for fun. But what I think is going on is more that, basically more that good news came out this morning. Good news will generally, right now, people are looking at good news and saying, okay, as the economy gets better, the probability that the Fed is going to increase rates is going to increase, right? Because they're waiting for the economy to recover, and then they're going to increase rates, is what all the Fed members keep saying. So good numbers could mean increased rates, which is good for banks, because low rates are bad for banks and high rates are good for banks. So that's what I think is going on right now. And then at the same time, I want to look at IWO. Yeah. So IWO here is actually still doing okay as well, because IWO is basically the small cap growth names. And IWN, I bet you, is outperforming. Yeah, so IWN is outperforming IWO. And just look at these charts real quick, and I'll just switch back and forth, and you can see how today IWN and IWO have flipped. I've requested from both the Trade Ideas and TrendSpider comparison charts, which I desperately want. It'd just be nice. But basically, IWO is your growth stocks, and the higher interest rates go, generally speaking, the worse for growth stocks. And that's just because discounted future cash flow modeling, which I don't really think matters, so I won't talk too much about it. But basically, if you're expecting earnings way in the future, the lower the interest rate is, the more valuable that future earning is. The higher the interest rate, the more I would rather put it in something now that's going to compound the future. So that's the difference. And so that these interest rate talks, the reason I'm just mentioning them now is because I think you're going to, now that everyone forgot about inflation, I think this when is the Fed going to raise rates is going to be the next in vogue thing everyone's going to talk about. So a little bit of education, what they're talking about, I guess can't hurt. So crypto markets bullish. Ethereum looks overextended. I am long a fair amount of crypto, mostly in Bitcoin, just because I think I got a good snag there. And I took a small shot on some Doge, just because it looks like over this high it may go. So today I took some shot on some Doge. Like most of my crypto fund money is Bitcoin and a small amount is Doge. Again, just if we can get from right here to 30 cents, from 20 to 30 cents, great. It's not that I'm saying that I think Doge is a good investment or anything, but yeah, again, these are trades. I trade these like anything else. I try to stick in them when they go, and I try to short them when they don't work, right? So I have a my equity trading account is 10 to 20 times bigger than my Bitcoin trading account, right? Just for for reference, right? This is having fun trading, and if I ever hit a big chunk, then it's like extra fun money. Whereas the equity markets, again, it's just in a range, no need to be bearish, no need to be bullish. I think it could be like this until the end of the year. I think the whole story of what's going to happen with this new Delta variant and what's going to happen with the Fed and all that, I think that's going to make a difference. But I actually saw this great analysis from JC at All Star Charts. If you don't know him, he's a great technician. Go follow him and his crew. And they went through and they compared the second year of a bull market every single time, pretty much, except one or two. The second year of a bull market breakout, which is what we're in, is always choppy. So it doesn't shock me at all that we may be choppy for the rest of the year. So sorry, but it just means you got to adapt, right? So far, the last hour stuff is working. So that's what I'm seeing. Again, I wouldn't be shocked to see a pullback next week. Again, I wouldn't be shocked to see us kind of break out and rocket either at this point. So as we go through and look for questions as things go, I'm just going to run some things here in the background. Just again, I have a significant amount of people coming over this weekend, so I'm kind of multitasking to try to get ahead of all the stuff I got to take care of tonight. So again, ask questions. We're going to do some scanning now, where I'm just going to go through different names. I'll talk about the ones that I'm interested in and why and all that, answer questions as things go. And build a little list, and then I'll tell you which one I'm going to make the video, and then we'll go from there. So this first scan, I'm trying to get ported over that I can share this to the regular part of Trade Ideas. But I have my camera over it because it's a work in progress. It's essentially just looking for bullish looking stocks. Oh yeah, you just looked up CoinFin. It's a great little CoinFin reminds me. So I had a Bloomberg terminal for like 10 years when I worked in the hedge fund days, and it really reminds me of like um a web version of a Bloomberg terminal. Like it was shocking how close it is. Um I think they're a data aggregator for the question of where they get their data from, which means I think they get it from multiple different sources and just pop it together. Let's get my mug a little bit over there so I can take screenshots. So this is an interesting one. I'm going to add this one to the list. Just pop that. And we had this right, so we, strong stock, pulling back, putting in this base right here. It seems like it can't hold above or can't close above 6. So that's kind of what I'd watch to see, right? So I want to watch to see if I can get this to close right above 6. And then, right, I'm wrong kind of right under this area. I don't even know where is that. So yeah, if we get kind of back under here, so that's probably around $5. That's where, if I was in from 6, that's where I'd be out. And I always need to know that beforehand so I can run, the math of how much to buy and everything like that. I'm worried that today, so there's some days that it's like impossible to find anything. And those days it's pretty easy, right? Because I've got a series of scans that I go through. If at the end of them, whatever I can find, I can find. I never push it and continue to hunt past the scans that I have, because the scans that I have are the ones that I use. They're the ones that produce my patterns. And until, if I play with another type of pattern, then I would change that entirely. But since I'm not, then there's really no reason to do that. But I'm worried that today, just because of the way the market's set up, is going to give me the opposite problem, in which it's going to go, okay, there's so much to watch. It's time to watch everything. Like this APRN looks good to me, especially with a massive short float of, what is it? 21% up here. So yeah, short float 21% is pretty significant. So if we get over 440, where would I be wrong again? Probably 375. And that's, if you can get that short going, that's kind of interesting there as well. Can you tell more about the Stats Ed membership? So again, there's a blog post that's written up. Let me actually just show you what I can here. Load this up. Here. So this is basically what the subscribers get on a daily basis. So it's my thoughts on the crypto markets. So this is basically and I'm fine showing this because this is old at this point. My thoughts on the equity markets, right? Any news to watch out for. Again, it's the same analysis you're seeing happening here, just done for you every night. So then, breakdowns of different stocks that I'm looking for, reasons that I'm looking for them, areas that I would enter, areas that I would watch, overall thoughts of the market, and a watch list, basically my watch list of what I'm watching every night. Then let's just go. Right, then on top of that, we have access to all of my scans through Trade Ideas and TrendSpotter. So the scans that I use on a daily basis. We have, I'm going to add in here, we have a monthly webinar where I sit down, we grab a couple beers, and I go through whatever questions people have. They email questions in advance or they ask questions live, and I just sit with them as long. Anyone who's there will tell you. I think the first one was 2 hours and the second one was like 2.5 to 3. So it's a lot of asking whatever you want and getting me to answer that. And then we have a little Discord chat. So none of these are alert services, right? And that's one thing I want to make clear. At no point will I say, hey, you should buy this. Hey, you should sell that. And not to be a jerk, but I don't want those kind of people anyway. The people that are looking for signal services, because I don't believe in them, and I don't believe that any trader should be followed. So what I'm trying to get at and what I'm trying to do is two things, right? We create a community that people can join and talk, but at the same time, you have access to my analysis, which I hope is a way to watch and to learn how to do your own analysis, and then also a supplement to your analysis. So some of the top hedge funds and mutual funds and everything in the world, they always have their own in-house analysis, and they always pay for a separate set of outside analysis. And the best hedge funds I ever worked with, basically what they would do is they would run their own analysis on, they were a quarterly shop. So they basically, tried to predict the next quarter. Weird. But so I just finished my thought, and then, but they would do their own analysis, but then they would also pay for outside analysis to see where it confirmed and where it conflicted. So those are kind of the two things that I'm thinking of, and I have no idea. I'm gonna click. Yeah, I don't know what you did to piss off Google, Jim. I don't know why Google's watching my stream. But I was starting to read what you wrote there, Jim, and it seemed nice. And then it just says on my screen, I don't know what it says for you, Jim. It says message deleted by the Google moderator team. So if you're in here, Google, hi. If it was a robot, I don't know what you did to upset it. Try not to upset the robot anymore. But yeah, so it's more or less like I'm learning programming. I'm spending time when I have it to learn Python because I want to learn, how to program to build more advanced analysis and do all that kind of stuff. And I am paying for an app for an iPad that I think is really great. But then also different educational services. And I kind of look at it the same way. And when I'm done my learning process, I'm probably going to find a group somewhere, even if I have to pay to get in, where you can say, hey, why I'm trying to do this, why isn't it this working? And people can ping you back. So it's that same kind of, I consider it more ongoing education. And, if you look at the stocks I'm looking at and you want to trade them the way I'm trading them, there's certainly nothing stopping you from doing that. It's just not what I encourage, and it's just not really what the service is. What are you doing? You got to keep your eye on that one. It eats everything. This CMDO is very interesting. Yeah, this is going to be one of those days where I think I'm going to do a lot of scanning on here and then I'm going to narrow it down when the stream's over. And it's because a lot of what I do is I look for continuations of uptrends, and we look like we're also going to be doing a continuation of an uptrend. Probably asked about 30-second charts. Ha. That's a good little inside joke. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I was reading it, but man, you got to be careful. Google will get you. You got the robots after you. A lot of stuff is looking good. Even DoorDash is looking good. Hasn't DoorDash just been a complete dog for... No? Is it fine? No. So that's the IPO, I think, for DoorDash. Which I don't think... So this is something I've been doing a lot of. Yeah, so much power. Drawing this API or this VWAP from the IPO. There's definitely something here. Not relevant to this one, but just every time I do that, I see something. I got to build a math thing. Everything I do, and for people who are new here and they don't know, I'm a stats guy first, and then I'm a, over there, chartered market technician second. So whereas a lot of traders will start with some sort of story or themed or they have a reason outside to trade, and then they'll look at charts. Everything I do, I create the best I can what I think is statistical edges, and then with those statistical edges, I go through and use my technical analysis on the statistical edges. So the scans that I do, the algorithms that I build, they create the lists, and then I narrow the list down, and that's kind of a quick summary of my trading style, right? Is to go from technically minded down to more fundamentally minded and stuff like that. Oh, I should leave our Discord chat up too. You guys were yelling at me that I was on mute before. It would have picked up in the other one. Man, I've got some pretty serious metal going on in my ears, and it's getting a little too intense even for me. New member watched all my YouTube videos. Nice. Oh, cool. Yeah, you're dabbling in Python too for your... I don't want to make an app. My plan with Python is to have... Oh, that's interesting. For a bottom pick, Foresight Autonomous Software Publishers out of Israel. That would be a risky one, but I like it. I'm going to take that one. So basically, this one's a pretty... This is a scary one. Just looking at what they do some sort of quad site, whatever that is. But I really just like these higher low plays, right? So we have a low, right? This thing's in an obvious downtrend. It's just a bad stock basically from these highs, down from 10 down to 4. And then it puts in this low and it bounces and it puts in what looks like it might be a higher low and then starting to coil up again. So maybe, right? It's one of those that, right, if you can get on that second low, then sometimes you can be in some for a pretty wild ride, like AVIS. AIVS? What? AVIR. Yeah, that one. So this was the same kind of thing, right? Bad stock, right? Bounced, put in what looked like it was a higher low. I actually picked some up in through here. And then I actually got out some today, or I got out all today, and I'm going to look for a pullback. And the main reason is that if you draw the IPO or the VWAP from the IPO the way I did before, you can see that it comes all the way right to that high. So it went right to there and then stopped so far. So that's actually where I took my full profit on this. If it breaks through, that's fine. It was still a great trade. It was like 12%, I think, in a day or two. So I'll take that. But if we pull back into this area, and then it looks like we're going to break through this again, well, then I'll just buy it again, right? And then, net, I'll be in the same position that I was before. So what I want to do is take this one and then draw the IPO or the VWAP from the IPO, right? So if we could ever get there, that would be a month maker for sure. But very speculative, like they're building robot eyes or something, so it's not going to be a smooth goer. Yeah, we're only on the H's. This scan right here, and again, I'm trying to, that's another good one. God damn it. That one doesn't move much. I think I can make this one. It's already on the website for people that use TrendSpider, I think. It's just called the J Hook. If I didn't put it there, someone yell at me, and I'll make sure that early next week or this weekend when I get time, I'll put that on. I need to try to recreate it within Trade Ideas. The problem is I know, I think I know how to do it. It won't be exact, but it will be close. And it's basically just looking for, so the J Hook in trading. This is a Stephen Bigelow, I think I heard it from first. It's basically just, right, you're going in and then you're doing that, and you're hoping that hook looks kind of like a backwards J. So you have a strong push up, and then you're trying to loop back, and I'm just trying to get involved right here with a stop here, so that by the time we get up here and the breakout occurs, I'm the one selling to the people who are looking for the breakout, right? That's kind of just the premise behind it is, some sort of push up and then a pullback and then kind of sideways chop. And that's done just through manipulation of moving averages. Basically what I'm doing, again, for anyone who wants to go through the effort to build it themselves, they can. I'll be building it and putting it on the site at some point, but it wants the low of the day to be below the 8-period moving average, but it to close above twice in a row. And then the 8-period has to be above the 20-period, which just, shows a more near-term uptrend. And right, that's kind of all I'm looking for is that's the way I've always looked at it is stocks move in waves like this, right? So you've got a couple options. You can be that guy who takes that breakout right there, right? The guy who takes the breakout to new highs. You can be the guy to try to buy the pullback, right? To try to nail kind of this low right here, right? Or you can try to be the guy who, as it's coming back up, gets some right there. So I run two strategies. So what I generally don't do is I'm not that guy who's buying that breakout, right? Most of my algos, the algos that spit out that I share in the Discord for the member guys, they're this, right? They're looking for this pullback. They're trying to nail a bottom of a pullback into an already existing uptrend. The kind of scan I'm doing now is trying to be this guy, where I'm basically trying to buy here with a stop here, right? And then when we break out, I'm starting to sell some to the breakout buyers, right? Always thinking I'm hearing stuff behind me. I see your chart request there. I'm actually just going to go through this one scan. Looks like it's going to be more than enough. Basically, I don't see a merit of putting more than generally 10 to 15 stocks on watch at a time. So what I do as part of my nightly routine is I list my favorite scans from the top down. And this is my favorite, so I'm going through this one now, and then, as we go down the list. So if I've gotten enough stocks from my favorite scan, then I generally won't even really look too closely at the other ones, just because they're not too interesting to me. Oh, have a good one, Sam. All right, it's like I've got my A set up, and then my B set up, and then my C set up. So I'll go through my A, and then if I can find enough stuff with the A, then I'll stop. And then if not, I go to the B setup. There's Riot. Does look interesting, but yeah, earnings. We chatted about that one, I think, in the room a little bit. It's like half of them now. It wasn't as bad like earlier this week. I swear to God, every stock I looked at, every single one looked amazing. And then I'd look down, it was earnings in the next few days, right? And as a swing trader, right, basically, if I ever see red right here, that's Trade Ideas saying, hey, earnings is coming up really soon. And I just kind of immediately, if I see that red, I don't even think twice about it. Just not interested because, again, I'm one that I very much value more than anything. Risk reward over percentage of success, right? So I just want a handful of blowouts a month. I'm gonna add that one, right? I don't want a small winner a day, right? I want a big blowout. Yes, I want small winners every day, and most days, even swing trading, are profitable. But then the ones that really make the difference is massive wins, right? So your goal is that you always want to have small wins and small losses, and then hopefully if you add up all your small wins and your small losses, they net positive. But for me, it's always the big winner is that's what I'm really looking for, is one that I buy and then I make 20 or 30% on that name. Zip is interesting. Earnings are a little too close, but right, you can see it can't really hold above 28. So if you had to close above 28 there, you know what I mean, you can you might want to take that, but I don't think I'm going to add that one. I've got enough there. So let's do some chart request, and then I'm going to take off and do the nighttime video and do the wrap up for you guys, and then I got to work on TI strength, and Friday nights are a busy one, so that I could do nothing on the weekend. APRN is what I think I'm going to do the video about. It's either that or FRSX. I generally put little more volatile ones on YouTube just because I know people like that. So it might be FRSX. Let's go wild. So you were asking about UAVS, which I know I was looking at the other day. I don't know why, but yeah, see, I like it. Yeah, I think it came up on this RSI divergence scan that I have. So it's interesting. For me, right, I would just look at that and say I want it to clear this little area first, and then you know where you're wrong, right? That's kind of the first thing I look for in a trade is, okay, where am I wrong, and how far away is that in comparison to what I think I may be able to make if I'm right? And that's kind of the crux of my trading style, because again, I want a handful of, big month makers type of thing. So it's an interesting look. So, but I wouldn't just buy it here. I'd make it do something. What you've got a downtrend line kind of like that. See, it's broke that. I don't like trend lines that break by moving sideways instead of smashing up. So yeah, I would probably say 450 or something. I would want to see it over before I'd be interested. VF. Oops. Jeez, was that right? Wow. So that's a pink sheet. So I'm not interested. Plus, it's up from 12 to 17 many days in a row. That makes me not interested, but what makes me more not interested is that it's a pink, right? So, unregulated nightmare of an exchange. So yeah, I more questions if any, or more chart requests or questions if anyone's got it, and I'll hang around for a little bit. If not, I'll shut it all down and then I'll get to work on the video and then the Stats Edge Pro guys. So don't know if I'll get that out to you tonight or tomorrow, but probably tonight because I just don't want to work tomorrow. It's one of those things. It's the first time kind of in Canada that you can go anywhere at any time and talk to anyone or whatever. So I live in the middle of the woods and I've got a massive backyard. It's like I'm really going for the whole lumberjack thing, living in the middle of the Canadian wilderness. Just means it's a good spot to meet people outside. So usually if it's an outside type of thing, it happens at my place. All right, so I don't see any more questions there, so I'm going to take off, guys. Video will be out probably tomorrow, and then, I'll ping everyone in Discord for the Stats Edge stuff. Thank you, everyone, for coming out, as always. Links are in the description below for my email and the software I'm using and to get to Stats Edge and all that. Again, I always appreciate everyone coming out and watching me. Again, an actual high quality video should be out on the weekend, but just means one that I've actually edited. So I'll share that around social media as well. And have a good night, everyone.